Hello there, this is Kevin, and I'd like to introduce you to our latest WordPress theme. This is the LocalBiz Pro responsive theme. Though the theme looks a whole lot like our original LocalBiz Pro theme, it has been recoded entirely from scratch. The code framework is now fully responsive, which basically just means that it adapts well to most screen sizes and devices. That includes smartphones and other mobile devices as well. I'm going to give you a live demo here in just a minute, but before I do, let me just say that our original theme is still quite valuable. Don't think that this theme necessarily replaces the old. It really doesn't. Each approach, both the old or original fixed width layout and this new responsive one, has certain pros and cons. Neither is either right or wrong, and neither of the platforms could be considered perfect. There's going to be different situations when you might want to use one or the other, and of course sometimes your client is going to dictate that as well. They may be specifically asking you for a responsive theme, where if that's the case, of course you're going to need responsive code framework, which the original is not. So it's really just up to you. We built the responsive version basically because there is a very strong call for it in the marketplace. More and more clients are becoming familiar with the term, seeing now the technology on other sites and basically asking for it. And so that's basically why we are providing, why we created it and why we're providing it to you, basically because it's going to give you the ability to meet the needs of more clients. And of course, you're going to make more money in that process. So I'm going to give you a quick demo of the theme's responsive nature, show you a few of the theme's custom features. I certainly will not cover all of the custom features, as that would take a whole lot of time. Most of the feature set, if you're familiar with LocalBiz Pro, is the same. There are a few changes, and you'll see a few of those as we go through. And of course, we're going to continue to add new features through the beta process, and you'll hear a little bit more about that offer in just a second to see if it's right for you. So first, a real quick demonstration. Right now you're looking at a demonstration installation, and of course you're looking at the home page. Currently up here in the header area, we have it set up to show a logo graphic and text, which is the tagline text coming from inside of WordPress. So it's easy as just typing new text and then it appears. On the right hand side, right at the moment, this area is widgetized, which means you can drop widget content into this area and it will show up. Right now we are using our custom social icon widget to create the icons, and we've just entered a text widget to create the business name and address information. This can be set up differently, and I will show you that in just a minute. I do want you to pay attention to the fact that the logo in this case, it's set up to be left justified, or it's flush left along with the tagline. The header widget content is set up to be flush right, such that it gives a nice clean appearance. I'm saying that because as you watch the theme become responsive and start to relay out for a different sized screen width, you're going to start seeing that change. And that's the beauty of responsive code frameworks, is that they're actually very, very smart. So again, pay attention to the fact that the logo, image, and text are flush left, and this header widget content is currently all flush right. You'll see how that plays out in just a minute. Here in the main navigation, I want you to pay attention of a couple of things. Number one, note the items that are available. Home, full width page sample with a drop down for sample page. This is the drop down menu is capable of going 2 levels, so you can have drop downs under drop downs as well if you'd like. We have link to the blog and a link to the contact us page. So we're looking at 4 different samples: home, full width page sample, blog, and contact us for top level, and 1 drop down page for sample page. Underneath that is the main slider area. You're seeing 3 different slide images basically rotate through. You can customize quite easily the slider border look, as well as the speed at which the slide transitions happen. We're also planning on adding some other features such that you can do different types of transitions, because this particular slider code, which is completely new and different from our original theme, has the ability to do some things that the original does not. So we're planning on building some other custom features into the theme as well. Currently, right now, you can simply just change the border types and the transition speed, how long each slide stays on, and then how long it takes to transition between each slide. The content area can include more than just images. You can include HTML content, but to be quite honest, we haven't worked out kind of all of those bugs just yet. We will do our best through the beta process to make it as feature rich as possible, but it can take more than just images, just so you know. Lower down on the page, you see these three boxes, which are referred to as featured boxes by our theme. They are optional if you are going to use them. I would recommend that you do use 3. You don't have to. You can use 1, 2, or 3, but it would be best if you use all 3 just from a layout standpoint. But these feature boxes can also receive any type of content. So you can actually put a YouTube video in here. You can put images. They don't have to have just text. You'll see some of these have learn more buttons that are easy to dynamically create inside of our theme. And we're going to be providing some more graphic options as well. Lower on the page, right now you see the home page content, a few different styles just to show you how the theme styles the content. A right-sided sidebar. Underneath, you will see a testimonial slider. This is the second slider that's on the page. You'll see content streams by here. You can have as many of these as you'd like as well. Underneath that is the footer area. The footer area is broken up into 4 widgetized areas. So you can add any widget content you want separately under each of these 4. And then lower down here is just the ability to, add some, static links to a privacy policy, sitemaps, or whatever you'd like, completely customizable by you. And of course, the ability to leave a link back to you and your business. This is a great opportunity for you to do some link building for your own business if you are going to use the theme to build client sites. And it doesn't have to say theme design. It can say marketing by, SEO by, website design by, anything you want, and then link it back to your business name. This is all really, really easy to do inside of our custom site options panel. One other thing I'll point out, if I scroll up a little bit it'll be easier for you to see rather, is this circular button. The circular button here is not actually part of the theme. We did consider building it into the theme, but we decided not to just because we found a really great free plugin called Dynamic to Top plugin available through the WordPress.org directory. And it plays very nicely with our theme, and it's completely customizable. You can change the color, the position of it, etc. So just so you know, this isn't part of the theme. This is just being created because of the installation of the Dynamic to Top plugin. So if you'll notice, if I go up a little bit further, you can set the position at which it appears. So when the user is towards the top of the site, it's not there, but as the user scrolls down, it gives them the ability to click this, and if I do, you'll see that it just basically just takes us right back to the top of the site. This is really useful for smartphones or mobile sites where the site is going to become, quite long in vertical length. It's completely optional. You don't have to use it, but I just wanted to point that out. So with that, let me show you just kind of give you an idea as far as how the responsive nature works, and then I'll give you a look at the back end and show you just some of the custom features, again, just a few of them, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about the beta offer. So in regards to the responsive nature, again, I pointed out the flush left nature of the logo and the tagline, the flush right or align right nature of this header widget content. We pointed out the main navigation here and which items are here. You can see the size of the main slider images. You can see the orientation of the featured boxes. There's 3 in one long row. You can see the orientation of the content. The content currently is on the left, sidebar is on the right. You can see the orientation of the testimonial slider underneath, and you can see the footer content is basically in 4 columns. You have the ability, you see pages, archives, recent posts, and contact us at the moment is the headings for these. So watch what happens as I start to narrow the width of the screen. The code is continually looking at the width of the browser, and it starts to make some determinations how to lay this out best for the user without making them scroll left to right. So you'll notice that we still have the logo and the header content still flush left, flush right, just like before. Nothing's changed there. The main navigation hasn't changed. You did notice, hopefully, that the slider area resized and is now smaller. Slider still working perfectly. You'll also notice that the featured boxes have changed. It's no longer one line of three as they wouldn't fit. It has laid out basically to now stick the last featured box on the bottom. Now we could have caused them to size down, but the problem is, of course, then the text becomes unreadable on something like a smartphone. We didn't want to do that, so we caused them to be the same size physically, but we started to cause them to relay out, part of the responsive nature of the code. Now, is this the most pleasing look? No, it looks better, obviously all three in a row. And that's what I meant by there's nothing, you can't say that, responsive themes are perfect. Nothing's perfect, but it does give you the ability to, if you were looking at this on some type of a screen that had the ability to see this, you now see the content, it's all readable, and you still don't have to scroll left or right. As I scroll down, you'll still see that there's enough room for the main content on the left, the sidebar on the right, and the same with all of the other content. It's a little bit smaller, not by much, but it's all still laid out the same. As I reduce the screen width a little bit more, you're going to see now a much different change. The logo and tagline are now centered, no longer flush left. The header widget content is also centered underneath, no longer flush right and to the right. The navigation is totally changed. No longer do you see the long list of items. You now have a drop-down menu. Also, please note this. You'll see it says Home, View Regular Site, Full Width Page Sample, and Contact Us. Note that you did not see an option for View Regular Site in the previous navigation. This is because we created a new custom WordPress menu, and I haven't seen anyone else do this. If it's out there, I haven't seen it. You have the ability basically to create two menus, a main navigation menu that would be used generally for desktops and laptops, and a second mobile type menu that would be used anytime the menu started to turn into the drop-down, which is going to happen on smaller width screens, typically mobile devices. So if you want to create a completely unique menu just for mobile devices, you can, including one that includes View Regular Site, should you happen to want to use a separate mobile website. Now, some will say, well, why in the world would you want to do that if you're using a responsive theme? And I'm not saying necessarily that you would, but just because the theme is responsive, it does not stop your ability to build a completely separate mobile site, just like you might have already been used to doing. And if you do that, and of course if you're using a piece of technology like our mobile device detect technology, you can have the ability to include a View Regular website link that would take them to back to the other non-mobile site. Whatever you want, basically, you can do. You can create the menu navigation exactly the same way as the full site, or you can create a completely separate navigation. That's my point. The drop-down menu also happens to be touch enabled, so if you use it on a mobile device, you'll see that it activates the device's ability to select from the menu options. It works quite nicely. The slider, you can see it's still showing the full image, but of course it's become quite, noticeably smaller. The feature boxes are all now vertical. The homepage content is now sitting there by itself. No more is the sidebar to the right. The sidebar content is now underneath of it. The testimonial can still be viewed, and the footer content is also vertical, and the bottom content is centered. So again, everything just continues to excuse me, lay out in such a fashion that it can be very easily seen, navigated, and read by devices all the way down to that of a smartphone. If I go even smaller still, we will see that it will happen one more time. And this is basically the width that you would see if you were looking at it actually on a smartphone. So if you have a smartphone, you want to dial up the beta demo sample that I gave you, please do check it out. It's actually very, very cool. When you do use it on a device that's touch enabled, you'll notice that the slider is also touch enabled, so you can swipe left or right over the slider with your thumb or finger, and it will move the content there as well. Again, everything else is the same as it was. It's just a little bit longer, but it's all centered very nicely on the page. And that is basically what responsive means. It means it's not just fluid. There is older code out there that's fluid, basically just shrinks content. This isn't just about shrinking content. It's also about making smart decisions about how to best display the content for whatever the screen width is of the particular device. The code is also dynamic to screen orientation. So if you have a mobile device or smartphone, you're looking at it in portrait mode, the tall layout, and then turn it to landscape mode, you'll see that the content resizes. Same thing on some type of a tablet. So that is the responsive nature. Real quickly, let me show you the back end. Don't want to take much time, but I do want to show you just a few things. You will find that once you activate the theme, you have some custom options that are not here by default inside of WordPress. Testimonials is where you control and add any of the testimonial content if you decide to use that feature. Main sliders is where you go to add the slider content. Featured boxes is where you go to add the featured boxes. Again, all of these are completely optional for use. Also under appearance, you'll see some custom options. You'll see site options, and you'll see theme options. These are custom just for our theme. I'm going to show you theme options first. I'm just going to show you one particular thing. The main theme background and navigation bar has 6 different colors. So if you had just by default a client, they didn't want blue, they wanted, say, red, you could simply choose from the drop down red fire, click Save Changes, and we'll go back and refresh, and we'll see that we've switched. Now the background and the main navigation all switch over to the red. And of course you can use custom backgrounds, and I'm going to be showing that as part of the beta training process. But you get an idea. There's 6 different color options inside of the theme, and we're going to be providing more custom background types after we finish and finalize the theme as production ready. So that's one quick and easy, just description of how you can kind of customize the look. But there's so much more that can be done through this theme without having to get into custom coding. So let's go to appearance and site options, and I will show you what I mean. Let's say on the home page that you decide that you do not want to show feature boxes. So you just turn it to false, click Save Changes, and now when we go back, you'll see in this area here the feature boxes. As I refresh, that content will disappear. The feature box content that you created inside WordPress stays. You can easily just bring it back with a click of a button, but the content is now gone. So if for whatever reason you have a special going on, or your client just doesn't want that content, you want your main content higher up on the page, simply click a button and the featured boxes disappear. We can continue that process. Same thing with the testimonials. Maybe they don't want to show testimonials on the home page, or they want to show them differently through the use of a different plugin for the sidebar, something like that. No problem. Again, we currently see the testimonial slider. Now that we've turned it off, you see that that content is now gone. And we can continue. Maybe you don't even want to show slider content. You can turn that off. You can also turn off the sidebar such that you can use the full width of the page. I won't show you that. I think you get the idea. But now we have a slider that will disappear. And now we have, simply a nice looking nav bar and then straight to content to the footer. And there is so much more built into this theme. I can switch the sidebar from the left, from the right rather, to the left if I want. I can customize the header. I guess that's one thing I'll show you. Inside the header area, we go to General Settings. Right now it's showing a website logo, the tagline, and it says contact information. Really what it is just the header widget. I think we need to change this text. But let's say that you don't have a logo, if you just want to put up a site prior to the client getting a logo made, you can use text instead of an actual graphic. So pulling the text from the site description, the content from the WordPress tagline, and then whatever widget information you'd like to use, you can do that. And if I update this now and go back, you'll see rather than the graphical logo, we now get text. And this is editable inside of WordPress, and you can also, through custom CSS, style it differently. Different colors, different fonts, etc. We may build in some automated features into the slide options panel. I'm not sure about that for this option, but you just know that it can be done. Also, if you don't necessarily want that, if you want to use a full header image, and of course you don't have to use an image that goes the entire 960 pixels in width, but if you do, I have a sample in here. You can use just an image. And now you'll see all of this content disappear basically. And you'll see that I've included a full image. So all of that stuff, can be changed really, really easily through the custom site options panel. And it's as easy and quick to do as I'm showing you here. And there's many, many more options and availability. You can see we have the ability to make certain decisions for the whole site-wide, for the home page itself, for the main slider. For example, how fast each slide stays. You can see that we have the ability to change the look of the slider graphic. For example, let me choose this white, very wide border. It would help if I turn the slider back on, otherwise you won't see it. Previously it was thin and black. We'll go to home page, we'll turn the slider back on. And update. The slider will come back, and you'll see rather than that thin black border, we now have a white thick border with rounded edges. So there's lots of different options. I mean, realistically, you can create 50, probably 100 or more different homepage looks just through the clicking and updating of buttons inside without having to do any custom coding of your own. Of course, that's still available. You can still do all sorts of custom stuff to the theme and customize it even further, but we built it such that for the most part you don't have to. So that is some of the theme special features. And now I just want to quickly touch on the offer that's available to you. First, remember that the theme is still in beta. So you need to understand that we do not recommend that you build actual client sites with it just yet. We will work hard to see that the theme is production ready as soon as possible, but that will likely take about 60 to 90 days. So we're hoping to have it production ready in 60 days. It may take as much as 90 days. By 90 days, we will have it production ready. Beta members will have the ability to make feature suggestions through the month of February. After that, we will simply work to squash any and all bugs to make sure that the theme is rock solid and production ready. Those that take us up on the beta offer will get the production ready theme before anybody else, and of course we'll get the best possible price. In fact, Um, it's kind of crazy, but we're only going to ask $9 for the beta offer, and you will get our most generous license as well, which is a really important factor. You're going to get a white label developer's license that will allow you to brand the theme with your company details. In other words, there won't be any content or links back to us and our business. Everything can be just as if you created the theme completely by yourself. And you can brand it with your own company details and sell the installation and setup of the theme as many times as you'd like and for whatever price you decide. Please note that you can't resell the theme just by itself. It has to be sold as a service, the installation and setup and customization of the theme. When we do decide or get ready to offer the theme to the public, after the theme is production ready, we're going to offer 2 or more different license types, and the white label developer's license, the one that you'll be receiving, will cost much more, probably being priced at least $37 and maybe more. Those that get in now will immediately receive the current version of the beta theme and a companion child theme as well. I'm not sure how familiar you are with child themes, but we generally recommend the use of child themes and have provided one for you. This is going to make unique site customization and the updating of the parent theme a whole lot easier. And of course, as we go through this beta process, there are going to be a lot of parent theme updates. So if you have the child theme basically active and running on your site, then updating the parent theme is going to be really, really easy. Just a simple process, and all of your content will stay perfectly intact. You'll also get some great plugins as a bonus. Just please note that these are for single site use only. If you decide you'd like to use them on more than one site, you will need to buy a personal license. You'll also get some additional training material in regards to the use of the theme. But know that this is going to be an ongoing process as more features are added through the beta process. So as we continue to add new features, obviously we're going to continue to put out, new little bits of training on how to use the new features. Once the feature set is done, and that'll happen after the first 30 days, just after the end of February, start of March, we'll set all the features in stone, and then we'll just basically work to squash the bugs. And get the theme production ready. So let's see what else. We plan to hold a number of live webinars for our beta members. More information about the webinars will come in about the next 1 to 2 weeks. And I think that's about it. So the members area is ready for you. If you'd like to get in, just find and click the buy button on this page and complete your purchase through PayPal. Thanks, take care, and I will see you inside.